welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about choosing a birth center over a hospital. Here I am 27 weeks along and I have a baby girl coming pretty soon, and we have been looking for a place to give birth. I just knew that a birth center was the right choice for me and my baby. I'm going to take this video and kind of compare and contrast the differences between a hospital and a birth center, and maybe some pros and cons that will help you be aware in making your own decision. And this is just in general for hospitals and birthing centers. This isn't all hospitals or all birthing centers. Sometimes you can even get a birthing center and a hospital together. And sometimes a hospital will have a separate birth center. So this is just for those of you who might be trying to decide which one might be best for you and your family, and why I decided to choose a birth center. And I'm also going to be showing you the birth center that I chose and give you a little bit of a tour in this video. So let's just begin. I'm going to rank this by priority or importance. And the number one thing for me is to be relaxed and calm during the pregnancy. And for me, this was just two totally separate worlds for me and my personality. I feel really uneasy in a hospital, and I want the peace and calmness of just giving birth the way that I feel is most natural, without having any type of IVs hooked up to me and having doctors and nurses come in all the time. And I know that some people really love that fact that they are in the hospital when they're giving birth, but for me and for my choice and for what I knew would be best for me would be to be away from all the different IVs and the bed and the doctors and nurses that are constantly coming in, and have a more relaxed environment. And the birth center that I chose has a very relaxed, calm environment, which I am really looking forward to. And if there is an emergency, there is a hospital nearby that we can go to. I love the relaxed, calm environment that most birth centers offer compared to a hospital. The next reason is definitely important. This is one that you might not have heard before, but when you go into labor, into the hospital, they usually cut you off from all types of food and snacks and drinks other than water. And sometimes you can be in a hospital for 12 hours, 24 hours, and it just is a really long process where your body is going through a lot, but you're not able to take in anything other than water or ice chips. And I asked my local hospitals if that was the case there, and they said yes, that's the case here. We don't allow anything other than water or ice chips for your duration of being in the hospital until after the baby's born and you're in recovery, then you can eat. But in the birth center, they really encourage to have snacks because you are laboring, and it's a time where your body is going through a lot. And as a former marathon runner, I know that during the 4 hours I was running, I needed different calories and fuel to keep me going and keep my body up to par with what I was trying to push out for the duration of the marathon, and in this upcoming case, the duration of a labor and giving birth, where you are moving around and trying to get this little one to come out, and your body is going through a lot. So having that ability to have fruit and different protein snacks and bars and things like that really made me want to choose the birth center over the hospital. The next reason is, I kind of mentioned it, it is the ability to move around during labor. And some hospitals allow you to move around and have that freedom in your room as you're giving birth. But I love that the birth center that I chose really encourages walking around and maybe even doing certain yoga moves and just staying pretty active during the labor. A lot of times in a hospital you're connected to an IV, so you can't really walk around, move around. You're confined to the bed for the most part. That's not all hospitals. I know that there are a lot of hospitals that say that they give you the freedom to move around. But for me, I loved the calm environment, the ability to snack, and the ability just to move around and walk around during that time of labor. The next reason also could be applied to both hospital and a birth center, but it's a very limited supply in a birth or in a hospital, and that is the use of a tub. And this can be so helpful. From what I've heard people tell me, that a tub can be so calming and so relaxing, and also be helpful for when you are going through those contractions. It helps relieve a little bit of that pain. And some hospital rooms have this. I know the majority of the ones, at least near me, do not have this, but at a birth center they usually have a tub available or set up for you to give birth in. So that was something that I also thought was really important for my labor and delivery. One thing that is drastically different about hospitals and birthing centers is that birthing centers don't have any type of epidural available, and hospitals do. So if you are thinking you want an epidural, which I know so many people love to choose and have in their birth plan, then a hospital would be probably the best option for you. I chose to attempt doing it unmedicated, and that's perfect because I also want to do the birth center. So I'm gonna hopefully do it unmedicated. If the circumstance arises where I do need a medicated labor, that's okay with me too. I just want a healthy baby. But having an epidural is definitely a hospital and not a birth center. This next item isn't really a thing of importance for me. It wasn't anything that would make me make a decision, but it is kind of nice. And that is that hospitals don't allow any type of filming or cameras or photography at all, other than, maybe when, you're just taking a picture after the baby is born, but they don't allow for that. And I would love to have it on video and filmed for when my baby comes into this world. I think that would be such a precious thing to have on video and have pictures of, and so I am going to hopefully be doing that as well in the birth center. Some hospitals might allow this, but the ones near me don't allow this type of filming or photography during the actual labor. So that is something that I think is a wonderful thing to have if you choose to do it. I love the idea of filming it and having some photos of it for our own family personal use, but that's definitely not like a thing that I would base my decision off of, but it is just kind of something that's nice. Let's see, what is the other thing? I know this sounds mostly like the pros of a birth center and cons of a hospital, but there are also a lot of pros to having your labor and delivery in a hospital. It's just dependent on what you feel is most important. And then the final thing I want to talk about is a birth plan. I have been kind of formulating a birth plan, but the birth center that I am going to, they kind of follow the guidelines of everything that I would prefer in my labor and delivery. In a hospital, you can also submit a birth plan where you can decide if you want delayed cord clamping and different things in the birthing process. But overall, the important thing is having a healthy baby and a healthy mommy afterwards. And I hope this video kind of helped you guys understand the difference between a hospital and a birth center, and just some of my own personal choices of why I am choosing the birth center over the hospital, and just a few things really to think about if you are also pregnant or if you're thinking about becoming pregnant. I'm going to put in some clips of the birth center that I'm going to be going to after this, so if you would like to stick around and see that, you can see that too. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!